Nature works by being in balance, and when nature is in balance, magical things happen. What I've created here is a microcosm of what you would see in any piece of earth that has healthy nature still functioning as it should. The plants just are remarkably healthy and happy growing in my shit, basically. That's all I do is I shit and the plants thrive.
Le Grand Pissoir is a self-contained closed-loop system. Once water enters the system, the only way it can exit is through evaporation and plant transpiration. When the toilet is flushed, poop enters a 500-gallon biodigestion chamber containing earthworms and other microorganisms, which digest the contents and convert it into nature's finest fertilizer, worm casts. Liquids from the biodigestion chamber, or stomach, drop into 3 sedimentation and aeration tanks. The tanks are connected in series, filtering the water further as it travels through each screen. From there, it is pumped to the rooftop where a micro-wetland filtration system, or intestines, filters the black water and fills the toilet reservoir for flushing. Excess filtered black water from the intestines flows into the fish tank, which acts as a final check to ensure the water is filtered properly. The overflow from the aquarium travels to the living wall, which is made from volcanic rock with pockets containing several varieties of plants, further aerating the filtered black water. The water then flows back into the sedimentation tanks, thus closing the loop.
My quest from 45 years ago was to find the super soil, something that you plant stuff in and it just grows wild. And I've approached that, and I almost gave up thinking, well, this is as good as it gets. And then I put the intestines into operation, and it completely changed my whole idea about health and soil and food for plants. I can't take any credit myself because all I'm doing is copying what nature does naturally and has been doing for millions of years. And what I've taken is concentrated those systems into a single small footprint where everything is self-contained. Once we get over thinking that our own shit is unnatural or put away, out of sight, out of mind, the sooner realize that what it is a resource, not a waste product. At some point, we're going to realize the absurdity of taking precious drinking water and use it to flush our toilets. So I wanted to explore alternatives to our wasteful water flush toilets and to find an alternative for obsolete and archaic septic tanks. The system is powered by the work of the earthworms, Lumbicus rubellus and Isania fetida, and learning how to feed the worms is what gave me the idea on creating a composting toilet based on the earthworm. The stomach is where all the digestion takes place, and it seems to me to be more akin to our own stomachs than anything else, where you put food in the stomach and through all the chemical reaction of bacteria and the microbiome of our gut creates a food source for all these life forms that convert it into energy. Oxygenation of the black water is important because it prevents any bad odors from existing. And the water is oxygenated basically by 2 methods. One is the water dropping off the living wall, and the second is when the water leaves the intestines and the reserve tank for the toilet is filled, then that water itself is dripping drop by drop onto a stainless steel splash pan, which every drop that it comes down adds oxygen to the water. So I know it's working properly when I could put my hands in the finished compost and smell it. It's just like smelling beautiful, delicious earth. I think if I were to be able to choose my own legacy, it would be what the intestines represent on the roof. I'm absolutely amazed at how well it functions. It far surpassed my expectations. It's my biggest dream to scale this system into a much larger format to service several homes or even a small community. Certainly the first thing I would do is make access to the intestines much easier. I never thought I would enjoy just observing what's growing there. It's so much fun to go up there and look at the plants and how they're growing and see what plants have volunteered. We had tomato plants growing, and I have no idea where the seeds came from, but I can say that not only did the tomato plants grow well, but their fruit was very tasty. I enjoy planting a seed and seeing it turn into a vibrant life form that I could put in my mouth and enjoy the taste and have it come out as reprocessed food for other forms of life, in this case, the earthworms. And I would love to have everyone's shit from a community going into a central composting yard because I see the potential of what our shit can mean to the life in the soil. We had our worm casts analyzed at a lab. In fact, I sent in a sample from some commercial worm casts that I got at the local store. And their worm casts registered 3% water-soluble nitrogen, which is pretty good. Ours measured 10% water-soluble nitrogen, which is a gardener's dream. It gave me the most encouragement for all the work I've done, maybe on the whole property, that intestines was justification for pursuing a mad, crazy dream that there's a better way of living on the planet.